You're watching the Eternal Tournament Series.
Hello and welcome back, everyone, to our final round of Swiss, round 7 of the third weekly of the Eternal Tournament Series, Season 5. I am, of course, your host, Bairdrus. Once again, joined by my wonderful co-host, Sir Rhino.
Yes, we have made it to the final round of Swiss. We've seen a lot of action, and we're not done yet. We're still bringing more here with quite an interesting matchup here. We've got Bill Murray, yes, Bill Murray, on what he calls Primal Time Monsters, although it's really just it's a Legion mid-range. Hey, we've seen this before, although the 4 Terriach hatchling getting a little more dinosaur action in there than we're used to. I can't say I disapprove of that. I'm always down for more dinosaurs. And on the other end, we've got Tobu, who we've seen earlier, playing Argenport mid-range, currently 6-0 with this list, just slaying the competition with Slay, and also some other Argenport goodies. So just a good old-fashioned mid-range beatdown throwdown here. We'll see if Tobu can run the 7-0 sweeper of Bill Murray plays Spoiler, and who I think is currently 5-1, so would go to 6-1 and certainly lock up a spot in the top 8.
Yeah, this is going to be a win and in for Bill Murray, or a gatekeeper match here for Tobu. So we will see what happens, as we should be getting into our first matchup in just a moment.
Yeah, there we go. Players are mulling. That's done. They've got their hands ready to go. And Bill Murray's got to play with a turn 1 initiative to the sands. That's always fun, although not a huge follow-up with Friendly was ready to go yet. Tobu, in the meantime, found his 3rd power, but it's not a Justice source, so these double Justice 3 drops are still uncastable for now.
Oh, and here comes the curve, speaking of.
Yeah.
We're going to see Sandstorm Titan on turn 3, Surso on turn 4, unless Tobu has something to say about that.
Tobu's got no removal right now, so the turn 3 Sandstorm Titan draw 2 cards is coming. That's going to put Bill Murray way ahead in this first game. Tobu's going to be struggling to come back from this kind of explosive start. Even if he finds removal deals with Titan, the Surso's coming down the neck.
Yeah, that's one of the few ways to make Sandstorm Titan a better card, is to add draw 2 to it.
And also cast it on turn 3. Make it cost 3 and draw 2 seems like a decent buff to Sandstorm.
Yeah, it seems pretty reasonable. I definitely feel like they should have printed that one in Omens, but yeah, we got what we got. It's a okay power level. And so, Bill Murray now has the option here to drop this turn 5 Surso, or turn 4 rather, Surso, if he chooses to.
Yeah, the other options are like get some flyers down and throw out the permafrost so they can't double block Titan. Or you can just not swing with Titan at all. You've got some options here. I think getting down another threat and keeping their board cleared, even though you're trading a 5/6 for a 3/3 here, it doesn't sound like a good trade. But with how many large threats you still have to come, I think just they're at some point going to have a good double block. You're playing Legion, you don't have much removal other than permafrost. I think just offering this trade is fine.
Yeah, I think this trade is fine as well.
Ooh, and that swing with the 1/1 there made Tobu instead just eat up the 1/1, and you just got in for 5 damage there instead.
Yeah, and he has the Rheinarch as well now that he transformed the Monument, so he's got a solid Rheinarch for his turn 5. I mean, this has been a very explosive start out of Bill Murray. Being able to keep that the Initiative of the Sands in play since turn 1 has really just allowed him to accelerate. And if he can find even one more power, he can drop the Predatory Carnosaur, and that'll ensure him against cards like Mokdo coming down for the first time.
Yep, Tabo here can play one of his threats, either the Copperhall Bailiff or the Tinker Overseer, and get to hold up Protect, which can prevent one of them from turning into a pig if he so desires, or more importantly, protect from the permafrost that's in Bill Murray's hand. But again, he's still staring down at least a 5/6 and a 6/6. I think he'll opt for the Bailiff here just to get them a little bit smaller, but maybe he'll value the flyer more. Now he's going to take the defensive position here and get down the Bailiff. It also means now if you triple block Surso, you still get to keep a pig. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about as well, is being able to actually triple block down Surso and still keep a unit. So, you still are having to trade off 2 for 1, essentially, with a requirement of having 3 units in the first place. But it's better than Surso was, where you have to have 3 to trade, and they're all gone. So, and, it's not like Bill Murray, based on his hand, doesn't have plenty of gas to reload with here. Now has 2 Reinarks in hand, 2 Teriax Hatchlings.
Yeah, this is kind of the classic time mid-range approach of the best way to solve a problem is to keep throwing large units at it. And Bill Murray's got plenty of those in hand spare here. So that's what he does. Throws Surso and the silenced lowly Titan at his opponent, takes out the flyer, and takes his opponent down to 12 and plays more dinosaurs here. The Reinhardt comes crashing down as a 5-5 overwhelm.
And here comes the Reinhardt. And if Tobu gets baited into playing Mokto here, this is going to get permafrosted. And this is just going to open the floodgates for Bill Murray to walk all over him.
Yeah, Mokto's got a giant sign on his forehead that shouts, "Permafrost me," and Bill Murray obliges, throws down the permafrost, will throw down a hatchling here. The double block goes out on the 5-5. Again, maybe going to leave the instigator in play yet again just to keep getting these extra damage triggers off of these chump blocks effectively. Takes his opponent down to 6 with a 6-6 or 5-6 overwhelm and a 2-1 flyer in hand. Ooh, but Slay off the top can answer the great glutton here.
Yeah, Slay will take down Surso. She'll buy him at least a turn. He also can manage to weave in like a Tinker Overseer, which could trade with the Teriax in the air. You got to feel pretty bad about putting a second Argenport Instigator into play at this point, right? You need the unit on the one hand, but I mean, if he kills any one of your units,
the thought here, I guess, is that you don't actually want to block the 2-1 flyer with your Overseer here, so you're just gonna get the 3-3 out of hand. It's a tough spot to be in. Your opponent, your opponent's on nothing but gas in hand. He's been stuck on 5 power. Has been playing 1 unit a turn. Opted to permafrost and play a 3-drop instead of something bigger. So, you're just facing more large monsters that are coming. But I think Tobu was hoping to, by getting 2 3/3s down, just rip another removal spell here for the monster and somehow squeak in lethal. That didn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah, Tobu not going to find anything here. He's going to have to scoop it up. Bill Murray taking down the first game. As we're going to move into these players' sideboards, we'll start with Tobu, as he did lose the match, see what he can come up with to get himself out of this situation.
I don't think he's going to change too much up here. I mean, he's already got good units and good removal. He's just going to make his good removal slightly gooder. Some Vanquish might come in, and I don't know, and the Steward of the Past, just change up, get a big, beefy guy in the middle of your curve. But I think your main plan is still going to be try and kill your opponent in the air via Impending Doom and Mokto and just clean up the Titans that show up and have a plan for Surso and the other large Overwhelm units here.
Definitely here. And then, it's hard to say. I mean, there's not a lot in his game plan.
Yeah, I think we're going to see, the last time we saw Tobu, probably the Vigilantes come out and maybe some Countesses come back in too, just like the last time we saw.
Yeah, very minor sideboarding. I have to agree here. That's definitely what we see a lot out of Tobu's Argenport mid-range, is it's got, very slight sideboard modifications. A lot of it actually seems to be slanted against aggro specifically, so...
Yeah, it's not exactly a transformative board. It's just a mid-range deck that's going to slightly tweak its threats and removal. Out of Bill Murray, we've got some interesting cards here. 4 Envelop, which I imagine is just for, the Rakano matchups and, Ultron matchups where it's a very conditional teleport, but it only costs 1 and can only be used on attacking units. It's not something you're expecting to see a whole lot of. Outside of that, Sand Viper is a deadly unit that can scale into the late game. Ancient Terrazon dies to removal like everything else and doesn't really help with the flying issue if you're scared of the large flyer. So I don't know if Bill Murray's really going to change much of anything here.
Yeah, maybe he picks up the Sand Vipers. That's really about all I'm seeing in there. And maybe the Hourglass. Probably not, though. He doesn't really need to block very often.
Mm-hmm. Well, this match is underway, and from what we can tell, Bill Murray's changed nothing as this hand is everything we've seen before. But yet there's the Steward of the Past in Tobu's hand, so we know at least that came in.
Yeah, we know Tobu has an Annihilate this time around, so it's not quite the same situation.
Bill Murray, this is crazy. It's on the play, turn 1 Initiate, turn 3 Dawnwalker or False Prince, goes with the Dawnwalker.
Yeah, he's going to go with the Dawnwalker here since even if the Initiate's taken care of, he's able to sacrifice the Dawnwalker next turn possibly, and then swing it with the False Prince again.
This Initiate's been flexing its power here, showing off just how strong getting, like, especially when you're on the play, just getting a curve ahead of, even above that on your opponent. And Bill Murray opting to play the Friendly Wisp could save it so he could, combo it with False Prince, but, he's okay with his opponent using some sort of removal on it and not playing another unit on board.
Yeah, and Tobu doesn't have a lot of good targets for a lot of these cards in his hand right now. Like, in theory, he's going to need to annihilate this Initiate of the Sands at some point, but Bill Murray hasn't particularly ramped into anything yet.
I think Tobu's planning on just holding on the Annihilate for a bigger target, but you might be right. He may try and take him off power, but I think instead, he's going to take out the Flyer and the potentially extra threats here and just go for the one-for-one game. He's at this stage now where he's not too much, not quite as concerned about this ramp. He hasn't seen Bill Murray miss a power yet, so he doesn't really have that information about what he's looking at. Opts to annihilate that 1/1 Flyer. Important to note, Tabu has no Varus favors in his entire list. Normally, that card is a nice tool to have against the Legion because you can kill the Wisp or the False Prince, and Tabu doesn't have that valuable tool available to him.
No, he does not, unfortunately. And Bill Murray finds an Obelisk there. Obelisk not a bad pickup, but not really what he's looking for. And Tabu is taking just a ton of damage here.
Oh, yeah.
Although
Dawnwalker has gotten a lot of hits.
Yeah, he does finally find a Valkyrie Enforcer, though, so that's going to allow him to stop the Dawnwalker from being nearly as threatening. Yeah. Although Bill Murray finally finds his 6th power, and that's exactly what he's looking for. Now we get to see the Predatory Carnosaurs come down.
Yep, so opting to swing first. Ultimately, it doesn't really make a difference whether he swings first or second. Actually, you Carnosaur first just to get that extra Argent Port trigger. Yeah, so he recognizes that, gets that 1 extra damage. Ace spaces. Oh, man. And gets in for 5 more.
Wow, yeah, and he lets the Initiate go.
He might not be able to
that was a mistake.
Your opponent's been stuck on power. You might not be able to cast this Carnosaur next turn, but even if you don't, you have a 7/7 and a 5/2 against an opponent on 4 health. It's a little bit of a risk, but you also got it for a ton of extra damage. I don't hate it that much.
That's true. I don't hate it that much. I definitely you're weakening yourself to cards like Steward of the Past,
and
but in the
curve
end,
out beats is too much.
Yeah, not gonna matter. Bill Murray is going to lock up his slot in the top 8 with a 6-1 finish. Tobu himself getting knocked down to 6-1 as well, going to also have a top 8 slot. So we now know 2 of our top 8 finishers. And we are going to be working on a backup match, I believe, unless that was the last match.
I very much doubted with the speed that those Elysian monsters took out Argent Port. So
yeah, hard to say. And in the meantime, we do at least have the bracket for you of what we're looking at as far as our top 16 currently. Now, this is top 16 before the match results come in for some of these. So we're looking at Tabu. Obviously, we just saw he was 6-0. Bill Murray was 5-1. He moves on to 6-1. Notorious GHP is also at 5-1. IlyaK is 5-1. Maniac 5-1. KC Nabrev 5-1. Tatsumaki 5-1, and Pupicitus 5-1, as well as Marius, Ski J, and Grumpy Old Man are all 5-1 as well. So any of those players who win a match here are going to lock up their spot at 6-1. The rest of them are going to be relying on tiebreakers to push them in. We're going to have 1 or 2 5-2s making it.
Yep, and the bracket's actually already been updated. So we've got 6 6-1s in Bill Murray, Tabu, Notorious GHP, Pupicitus, Casey Nabrev, and Marius. So those 6 are already in the top 8. And now it's going to really come down to a couple players fighting for those 6 and 2 slots. And there might be one more player live for 6-1. I think IlyaK can still go 6-1. Tatsumaki can still go 6-1. So yeah, there's going to be 1 5 and 2 that makes it in, and then one of these 6 and 1 players. So I think the last 5 and 2 is going to be either something like Shed or Maniac. That we'll see. But it looks like we're actually about to drop in on this 5 and 1 matchup. IlyaK is on Voda combo against Tatsumaki, who is on Dark Combre. So both of these players playing for the win and in. The loser might still make it on tiebreakers, but it is not a given.
Yeah, they will have pretty good tiebreakers, though, given that they're each playing each other in this last round. But yeah, certainly not a given. So this is a must-win match here. And I do believe we are in game 3 here as we come into IlyaK dropping all the units from his hand to silence off the Mystic Ascendants from Tatsumaki. And that is a ton of Mystic Ascendants down on the board.
Yeah, Tatsumaki's got a ton of cards in hand and an obelisk in place. This does not look like a good spot for IlyaK to be in. Yeah, the ace face coming out of Tatsumaki as well. But it turns out this is only game 2. IlyaK is up a game. So as we talked about, that first match we covered went by quick. And so even if Tatsumaki takes this game here, we're going to see a third one.
Yeah, which is great. More Eternal, always fantastic to see more of. So we're going to see if IlyaK can survive this onslaught in this second game, or if we are going to see a game 3 out of our players.
So Tatsumaki slams down the 7/7 Mokdo thanks to his obelisk. IlyaK digging for cards here. Going to activate Seraph and hope to hit something awesome, maybe like an Elias. All right, a 24/24 is a card, but he's dead on boards, and Tatsumaki take him out.
Yeah, unfortunately dead on board. I think the card IlyaK is looking for there is the 8/8 flying lifesteal.
Yeah, there's an 8/4 flying revenge lifesteal, Elias, I think. That would have been a fun hit. There's also Roland's Honor Guard,
the 7/7. Yeah, so yeah, he had 1 or 2 hits there. Actually, is Roland's Honor Guard a 7/7 or a 6/6?
Roland's Honor Guard's a 6/6/4/7.
Okay.
Yeah, didn't hit it. Tatsumaki had the slay anyways, and they're going to sideboard a little bit here and get into this deciding game, the win and in. Oh, man.
Yeah, we're going to see what they can do. I mean, we can take a look at the players' sideboards really quick to try and get a feel for what they brought in. I mean, let's take a look at Tatsumaki's deck.
Yeah, we saw IlyaK's deck earlier. It's big Combre with Vodacons in the side. So Tatsumaki's on Dark Combre. So it's Combre with shadow cards. We saw the Inquisitor Mokdo there, the Slay, the Banish. Those are all nice cards. And in the sideboard, I don't know, some stand-togethers could come in. We saw the Obelisk already in, and it looked like he also brought in the Harsh Rule, because we saw that in his hand there towards the end as well.
Interesting. So it looks like Tatsumaki is trying to take more of the control and the grindy route, which definitely seemed to work out for him in the last game. Obviously, we don't know what the lead up to that board state was, but he certainly closed it out looking pretty well. How do you feel about this Dark Combre deck, Rhino? This is essentially Combre splash shadow for some pretty nice powerful cards. Yeah,
we've seen Dark Combre in the past, especially before Zindel's Gift got its influence requirements hit. Back when it was only a single shadow influence requirement, you saw Combre splash for that actually often to help up. But now, with the addition of Banish and Slay, you just get these nice like unconditional removal spells. Banish is also flexible in power, so that's just a nice card to have. And then Mokdo, I mean, the card's cool. We'll see if that's really worth going out of your way to get double shadow for, but getting a powerful flyer like that can't be a terrible thing if you're already getting some other cool shadow cards in the deck. But Tatsumaki here on the beatdown right now. IlyaK was stuck on 3 power, played a couple Seraphs, played out the Sandstorm Flame once he hit 4, but Tatsumaki had the removal for it. And we're just throwing out cards here all over the place. IlyaK opting to not leave up Stand Together to deal with this flyer. Again, I think that makes a lot of sense here. And Tatsumaki going to reload his hand with these temples.
Yeah, he's going to use the Temple Scribes to reload. And that was very interesting that Tatsumaki used the Great Parliament on turn 4. Like, he certainly had it on curve, and it looked like he just wanted to get aggressive and try and close this game out early. And he did put, a little bit of damage down on IlyaK.
Yeah.
But ultimately, unfortunately, the Owl met the fate of Vanquish. But here we go now. First Mystic Ascendant to hit the board, and IlyaK with no response in hand to deal with this.
Yeah, this is a little awkward. Tatsumaki opted to bring in the Harshals to help him deal with like that Voda combo setup that's hard for mid-range to catch up with. But he's actually in a game where he's ahead on board, and these Harshals are a little clunky, but hopefully these Mystic Ascendants will keep the other threats coming. The Banish here can take out Seraph and clear the way for his own Seraph to beat down. IlyaK doesn't have Stand Together up, opted to try and get more power in hand to get these Mystic Ascendants going, and he's going to get hit real hard here.
That was a nice solid push right there. Like, nice solid push out of Tatsumaki, taking care of it. IlyaK now can respond with the Mystic Ascendant of his own.
Yeah, Tatsumaki doesn't have the right answers here.
Yeah, Tatsumaki not finding the power. And very interesting, he's going to take care of the Seraph, and IlyaK is going down to 2 now.
Yeah,
and there's another Mystic Ascendant to follow. Yeah,
IlyaK has no harsh rules. He's just trying to end this. Like, Tatsumaki recognizes that, and he's just trying to end this game now while he sees his opening. And Ilya throws down a couple more units, has Stand Together up, and he's gonna maybe be able to stabilize here. Tatsumaki just drew a bunch of harsh rules in a situation where he absolutely did not want them. And he's got at least one Mystic Ascendant, so he might be able to reload, but this is really awkward for him. Of course, Ilya doesn't have a whole lot going on right now either. At least he has a Flyer and a Mystic Ascendant that's alive, but this is... I mean, Tatsumaki can swing and get in for one and, lose a lot of his board, but it's a tough spot for him right now. I think you kind of just need to sit here and accept it.
Yeah, this is not fantastic right now, and IlyaK finally digging himself out now. I mean, the Mystic Ascendant's picking up stuff, and now he's got the Martial Ironthorn as well. This is probably going to lead Tatsumaki to needing to use a harsh roll here. We'll see if he elects to drop the Temple Scribe first to try and dig another card off of his Mystic Ascendant.
I think you harsh roll and then Temple Scribe. I think you actually harsh roll, leave back Temple Scribe as a chump blocker for this 11 that's going to become a... And that looks like what Tatsumaki's opting to do.
Yeah, it's certainly a fair line of play. Everything got chump blocked there. We see the harsh roll coming down. We are going to see, as you said, the Temple Scribe falling up. And, Tatsumaki does have more harsh rolls, and he picks up a Slay. So he's got plenty of ways to answer threats now. He needs an 8th power, though, because IlyaK picked up that Protect. That's going to insulate the Mystic Ascendant from the first of either the harsh roll or the Slay. So we're going to need to see an 8th power out of Tatsumaki here, or he's going to be in serious trouble.
Yeah. Protect flexing itself here. Same with Stand Together. They are as strong as ever, and honestly even better than they were before because they're protecting better threats. Tatsumaki misses on that power, and he's going to slam the harsh roll, and this Protect's going to keep this Ascendant going. And IlyaK's holding on here, maybe even more than that, turning it around real nicely here. He's got a whole lot of power at the moment, but he's also taking a good amount out of his deck, and he's going to keep taking more out of the deck. 4 sigils remain in the deck and however many season banners, but gets into chunk for 15. But Tatsumaki has one advance here.
Tatsumaki, though, now that IlyaK only has a handful of power, this Mystic Ascendant is going down this turn, and Tatsumaki's going to be able to start to put the pressure back on Ilya.
I think you harsh roll here and hold the Slay. But again, Tatsumaki doesn't know what's in Ilya's hand. He's looking across and sees 6 cards, and he doesn't realize that it's all power. So he wants to hold this harsh roll because he's expecting more threats to come down. But, there it is. But he didn't know that was happening. He opts to not even kill the Mystic Ascendant, though, which is pretty surprising.
Yeah, and we see, not a fantastic hit, just the Minotaur Grunt coming out. And the 17-17 Mystic Ascendant.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Stable. And actually,
Ilya wisely. Yeah. Ilya wisely decides to not swing there and force a chump block because Seraph exhausted herself. And that would have been lethal. Of course, Tatsumaki, by drawing Obelisk, finds lethal anyway. This 1-1 becomes a 3-3. And Ilya's at 2. doesn't have the power up to decay to gain back the life to not die here.
And yeah,
Goes
Tatsumaki's going to push it
down.
out there right in the last turn. I mean,
Amazing.
yeah, those last
Holy
few turns
cow.
were so close back and forth. Like, it
Yeah.
really did just come down to a series of top decks.
Ooh.
And honestly, once IlyaK got the Seraph, I really thought he was going to be able to pull it out there.
Yeah, no. Tatsumaki sets up for the lethal. The Seraph exhausts itself, and the Xenonopolis top deck gives him the kill there with the Slay. Pretty wild. If Ilya just had one more power in play, he would have lived and probably won that game. Wow, what a finish there.
Yeah, it really was, though. Very impressive stuff out of both of those players. You know, two very well-known and very well-respected players in the tournament circuit. That is going to advance Tatsumaki, I believe, to 6-1 and knock Ilya down to 5-2. So Tatsumaki will secure the 6th spot, or the 7th spot, rather, and we are going to have one tiebreaker to determine who is our 8th player in the top 8. So we are going to take a very short break, folks, while we let the tiebreaker scripts figure out who our top 8 is going to be. And we will be back in just a few moments with your quarterfinals.
He's